So this past Saturday, our library had a book sale, and they had DVDs, they had CDs, vinyl records, cassette tapes, books on DVD, and of course books. This happens to be one of the books that I picked up at the book sale. And I got to tell you, it was one of the best books that I've read in a long time. It made me stop. It made me think. It made me put two and two together. And at first it wasn't coming up with four, but the more I went on further in the story, everything made sense. Hence the paper clips. So let's read what it's about on the back. And then I'm going to share my little poignant parts with you. And then I'll leave you wondering, what happened next? A thief in the night. When Emma Wilson tackled the man in the shrubs, he turned out to be a burglar, one who had stolen her heart. Unfortunately, Emma would rather have gone to jail herself than come face to face with Joe O'Reilly again. Joe was every sexy inch the rugged Navy man that he set out to become, but he'd suffered 12 iron-willed years of pent-up passion for his hometown lady. Now he meant to get another taste of what he had been denied him. When Joe's punishing kisses turned passionate, Emma could hardly keep her mouth shut. But she had to. After all, she robbed him of something greater, his son. So, we're going to start at the first paperclip, just like we did the other book. Page 37. Now, to give you a little backstory, not much, but a little bit. Before he went into the Naval Academy, him and Emma, which would be Joe and Emma, were an item. Well, while he's in the Navy Academy, Emma marries Skip, which is Joe's best friend. Okay, so are you with me so far? During the time that they're married, there's a son that comes into the picture, which is Joe's. But Skip claims it is his son, and Joe doesn't know any different. When he comes back home to sell his parents' house, which is the next door house to Emma, things heat up again. And so we're going to be at page 37. Now that Joe's back and we're divorced, his low voice cracked. He had to struggle to go on. Emma, you're not thinking about telling him, are you? At the Skip's bluntness, heat flooded Emma's face. She had known the moment Skip walked in the door and saw Joe there at 6 a.m, looking unshaven and rumpled, sharing breakfast with her, what he'd thought. 12 years ago, he wouldn't have been wrong in his assumptions. Joe would have been there because he'd slipped over at some point during the night. He would have been there eating breakfast with her because they just made love, but that hadn't been the case this morning, nor was it ever likely to be that way again. She had to remember that. She swallowed hard, fighting that knot of emotion in her throat. Joe and I are barely talking, Skip. It's been 12 years since we've had any real contact. I barely know the man. Isn't that sad? Okay, we're going to move on. Page 54. Doris's hazel eyes sparkled with laughter. She just picked up her tray and headed for the kitchen. Just remember, she called over her shoulder in a firm tone, we all make mistakes, Joe. We all make mistakes, Joe. Doris's words echoed over and over in his head. She was right. He was wrong. And it was time he did something about it. Doris is a police officer who is friends with all four of them, and she really points him in the direction of working things out with Emma. And she only not plants that idea in Joe's head, but she plants it in Emma's as well. And of course Bobby, which is their son, but yet Joe doesn't know that he has a son. You got to remember that. Okay, page 114. Okay, I see your point, Doris said after listening intently. It will probably sell faster once it's fixed up, the house that is. You don't mind if I go ahead and put the word out the station, though, do you? I know several people who are in the process of looking for a house. That'd be great, Emma said. She touched her hair and discovered it was tousled, smoothing the ends, and self-consciously she continued the forced practicity. I know that Joe wants to sell it as soon as possible, preferably before he leaves. And as much as part of her would hate to see Joe go, Emma acknowledged sadly she knew it was for the best. There was too many secrets that had to be kept. We're going to move on. Page 125. Here we go again. This time it's Emma and Joe talking. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about this at first, Joe said. He shook his head bewildered. I didn't even mean to tell Bobby. I know you don't talk about your pain, and yet somehow you understand it anyway, Joe marveled aloud. People make mistakes, Joe. Emma countered, knowing that she has had her fair share of them too. We all have regrets, Joe, all of us. The trick is not to let them rule your life. He shoved both his hands through his hair for an instant, looking more like the sweet boy she loved than the strong individualist he'd grown into. I wish it was that simple for me, Emma. But it's not. No. Again, the depth of Joe's hurt surfaced as he paced back and forth and explained in a low, tortured voice. I think my dad did what was easiest for him at that time. Not that he knew in his heart what was best. He lacked courage in dealing with Mary. Cost us our relationship and my sister her life. Mary was his sister. And for that, Joe finished heavily. His mind was made up. I just can't forgive him. And that was Skip, as he's talking about Skip. They have this jealousy still over Emma, even though it's been 12 years. And they never really get over it. Throughout the book, it's still like male pride, male ego, and, they don't see the bigger picture, but then they do in Bobby. And you just have to read the book. Anyway, we're going to page 240. Emma's lower lip trembled, and she turned her bright blue eyes on him, silently beseeching him to understand as she whispered sadly, Yes, Joe, you would have stayed here. You would have done your duty to me and to your son. Her voice dropped another accusing notch. And then you would have hated me for the rest of your life. She came forward pleading. I knew how much you wanted to go to the academy, and I knew that if I would have told you, or if the academy found out you had a dependent, you would have automatically been denied your appointment. It wouldn't have mattered whether you married me or not. Just the fact you had a child would have been enough to get you dismissed. What she was saying made sense vaguely, but she had also robbed him of his choice, and that he couldn't forgive her. So you married my best friend instead, Joe thundered. Skip forward in Emma's defense. She was going to run away, have the baby alone in a big city. I couldn't let her do that, not with your child. Yeah, some friend you were, Joe said bitterly, unable to believe Skip was acting as if he'd done Joe some big noble favor, stealing his girl. You just couldn't wait to hop into her bed. Skip looked as weary as Emma. It wasn't like that. She didn't even tell me she was pregnant. I guess when I saw her being sick, Skip's voice calm and was logical. But Joe had already heard enough. He turned, heading out the door of the house for the car. Emma raced after him. Joe, what are you going to do? Unable to bear her touch, to bear anything about her, he shrugged her off. I don't know. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Did Emma make up with Joe, and did they get married? Does Bobby know that he is Joe's biological son? Does it matter? Does Joe and Skip ever tell Bobby? More importantly, does Emma ever tell Bobby? All these unanswered questions, and the only way to find out is read this book, which gets a 10. 2 10s in a row. Can you believe that? This one I'm reading right now, Summer Nights. Like I said, I feel like I've read it before, but there will be a book review when I'm done. When will that review be? In the future. I'm going to say that. As you all know, I have not been feeling well. I have not been my best. I'm struggling right now. And I'm just hoping that the struggle winds up with me winning the situation of my health. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I don't feel like right now I need to expand too much into that. If you don't know what PCOS is, or the ups and the downs of PCOS. I don't have to explain it to you. That just means you're uneducated and you don't know. And of course, I have other issues. This right here, I don't know if you can see it or not. I have a shoulder injury. I have had that for years. It's nothing new. And maybe sometimes I push myself too much, because one thing for sure, stress settles in your neck. And I have, in my time, when they were trying to find out what was causing my neck to be immobile, that's why I had to wear that neck brace for so long. It took 3 MRIs for them to come up with that the bones were pushing through the muscle of my rotator cuff, and therefore it did not have anything to do with my neck, even though Dr. Nino had performed this stress test, if you will, from my spine. And I'll never forget that needle hitting the base of my neck. I really miss Grandma, because I tell you what, when this tightens up really bad, there's only 2 things that help it. 2 things. One is biofreeze. And if you put it right on there, it calms it right down. And of course, it's in the worst place of all, back there where I can't reach it. So I would rely on her to help out with that. And I can't ask Grandpa to do that, but I probably, in as much pain as it's been giving me, and that's just a tip of the iceberg. I mean, I've been going through a lot with my PCOS too, but that's just the way it is. I'm getting older. I can tell you that. It's life. You just have to deal with it and move forward. I don't wish anyone ill will. I don't wish anyone PCOS. I dang sure don't wish them shoulder problems. But I challenge my own self, if that makes any sense. If I get angry at a situation that I know speaking up won't do a lick of good, even though it should, I go out there, like today, and I cut out tree limbs. Why? Because Halloween's coming, and I thought to myself, the little trick-or-treaters that come through need to have that so they're not getting hit in the head, or their parents are getting hit in the head with a branch. That was my main goal out there. Plus, it helped with my anger management. I was really angry at something, and it helped out a whole lot. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to go out here and mow. Well, guess what? The wheel came off the mower, not once after Grandpa put it back on, but again for the second time. Second time I just said, okay, it's a sign. I'm supposed to stop. I've done too much today, and we'll go from there. So even though I didn't get as much done as I wanted to today, I feel like, I made a huge dent, which is a good thing. My next 2 days off, which is not this Saturday and Sunday, because if it was, I'd be seeing Chris Young. Y'all know that. Love you, Chris Young. So sorry that, I won't get to see you. By the way, if you wanted to come rescue me right now, there is a bunch of limbs on our boulevard. Just saying, you'd have to walk around those limbs to come to the front door. But I have a feeling that's not going to happen. But for all of those who get to go see him tomorrow, you won't regret it. I can guarantee you that. Life is kind of depressing. There's not too many ups right now to speak of. And that's all I have. I'll see you again soon. Probably without the glasses next time, because we all know girls with glasses hardly ever get second glances, or probably YouTube views. There was a question in my inbox. I will answer briefly before I send you all off for the evening. And it was, does your celebrityism of YouTube, do you think it would affect any future relationship? I don't look at it as being a celebrityism, if you will. I look at it as me being open and honest about my feelings, especially if I ever get scared or feel like I can't talk to any person about my feelings. Then I feel like it's the best way that I can relay how I'm feeling, how I'm going through the motions, my songwriting, which it's been a while since I've done that. But, it's just, this channel is truly me without any help of fancy signs or costumes, which, funny that came up, because one of my friends, he's been him and his girlfriend are dressing up for Halloween, and they're giving me a hard time. They're like, Bombshell, you gotta dress up. Well, they're younger than me. So, I don't know. I have given a lot of the costumes to my mom for consignment, so we can hopefully get Grandma's burial paid off quicker. The bank has not been very nice with that. Of course, anytime there's a loan, they're not very nice. But other than that, I did save a few back. I don't know why. But, I don't know. I haven't, the jury's out on that. So, we'll just have to see where life takes us. If, I know I always dress up and come on here at least and do Monster Mash. So, if nothing else, I'll dress up just for my YouTube channel to sing Monster Mash. But, I don't know. I'm getting older, and unless I have kids of my own, the costumes don't hold that much appeal to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I, let me put it in a different way, which my mom is going to love this remark. If the right man was in the relationship with me, and we could make a go of it without my temper being part of it, or any other excuse, then, I would say that I would have probably saved more costumes for myself. But I just thought, if I'm saving all these, and basically all I use them for anymore is my Facebook profile pictures, there's no point. So that's why I downsized. And I'm still in the process of downsizing, actually. It's a little bit harder on some things, but you know what? It's time. Speaking of time, it's time for me to go work out. I will see you soon. Love my blonde bombshellers. And for the question of, do I think that a man would be offended by my channel? Let me say this. I'm hard to love. I'm hard to put up with. I'm hard to be 24/7 in a relationship with. My longest relationship would have to be Mr. 8.5 years, which there's a sad thing that somebody said the other day was, it must be easy to be in a relationship where you didn't have to see each other all the time. I thought about that, and while that part is easy, try trusting that same person for 8.5 years and then being cheated on. It's the being cheated on and the being able to trust, the being able to put all your faith out there in the same person, not the same person, in a new relationship, if you will. To be able to go, you know what, I can drop my guard and this guy is A-okay. There's one thing that I always say. I can do relationship advice just fine for everybody else. But when it comes to myself, I think I've been hurt so much that I'm scared. And I think that I have trust issues, yes. Anger issues only because of my trust issues. Jumping to conclusions only because the past has led me to those conclusions. And so I just think, well, if that happened in the past, that's going to happen in the future. With that being said, I hope that clears up some controversies out there. And, the best thing I can always say, about books, you can read books, okay, from cover to cover. And that story is told within that book. My life, I want it to be a knowledgeable thing. I want people to learn from my mistakes. I want people to be like, oh, so she really did love him. And she really did put herself in that position to have her heart exposed for the world, only for it not to make a difference. It is what it is. Right now, my lives revolve around all my lives. Books, helping take care of my grandpa, helping take care of our animals, helping take care of stray cats, helping, prepare for the holidays, and learning how to cook. That's my life. It's not that thrilling. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't act like I'm in my 20s, because I'm not. I don't have any white hairs yet, but I have lots of experience from being hurt. I wouldn't say that I have the experience of a woman who knows the ways of the world, but I have the experience from the heart, which should matter more than anything else. Because being a lady and being treated as a lady is how I should be treated. So, being that said, I'm going to go work out and shut up because I feel like I've been talking for hours. And I have to talk the next 3 days. So, please understand if you don't see me until Tuesday. I love each and every one of you. God bless.